All right, so welcome back. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. So yeah, this video took a while. I want to make this video on LangChain. Uh, even for me, like this is a very new thing. LangChain is a very new thing. It's not the old classic deep learning. So this video took some time because there are some problems with ChatGPT for me. Like when I'm using API key, I keep getting this error. I'll just show you there what the error is. So this error, you exceed your current quota. I thought maybe I have used like the API many times, but and then I have also changed. I have also added a new email. I created a new Gmail and try to use ChatGPT API. Try to generate a new key maybe, but still I'm getting the same error. So I think that is a problem. Maybe I have to let's delete that. Sorry, it's okay. Okay, like yeah, you saw my API key. You saw my open API key. That was a mistake, but I'll just keep it that way. No, just access it. No problem. But it will not work, right? It will not work. So don't try using my API key. All right. So that was a problem. It was not working. I was getting the same error. So I thought, why not do the same video anytime? Anyway, maybe you can run it. Maybe you have. Maybe you could have access to the ChatGPT API. Maybe I'll just explain the code and I'll provide the notebook in the description. So just make sure to um get there and just try to do something. Just try to run it, try to experiment with it. Again, this is whenever you want to have like build your own chatbot, you can just use this LangChain. It's actually very good. Yeah, so I'm going to explain the basic idea of LangChain. It might be a little confusing for the first time, but I'll just make sure. No, it will not be confusing if you have uh, like heard the right topics, right? So there are many confusing things that people say on the internet that might confuse you, but I'll go like explain the basic introduction, the basic level of introduction. If I could solve this error of using ChatGPT, I'll try to pay. I try to pay for ChatGPT subscription, not subscription. Maybe that yeah. I'll show you. I'll show you very fast. Like you could just skip ahead if you don't want to watch me pricing. I'll show you. I think yeah. So yeah, it actually costs very less. Like for per 1,000 tokens. I think you could run some. I think it could run many prompts or many questions for 1,000 tokens, and it just costs $0.03. So I think I'll just buy them. I think I'll just buy this. I think I'll find a way. I'll get through. I'll get through it. I'll try to find a way, and maybe if I could find a way, then we'll continue with the LangChain series. I'll cover some of the things of LangChain that I have an idea of. We'll try to build some projects, and we'll go on. There are many. I think there are many concepts you could learn. You could use LangChain. So first, let's get to the like documentation. Let's just go through the like main thing, and maybe you could find something, right? So first, the introduction to LangChain is a framework. So I'll provide a link of this document in the description. So make sure to check that out too. So LangChain is a framework for developing applications powered by language models. Okay, simple thing. You can just build some applications using powerful language models. We believe that the most powerful and differentiated applications will not only call out a language model by an API, but will also, number one, be data aware, connect a language model to other sources of data, be agentic, allow a language model to interact with its environment. So let's go through what that means. So, for example, let's say you have some documents on your Google Docs, right? I also haven't tried these features. Like I think I have, maybe I have. Uh, yeah, I have tried out these features, but I'm not. I should try them out again, right? So yeah, for example, you have some documents on Google Docs. So the power of actually able to connecting this language model to this Google Docs to actually understand this data, maybe use this data to actually prompt this language model. I think that is what this says. It being data aware, other sources of data, maybe to actually having the ability to interact with other sources of data, and allow a language model to interact with its environment. Like I think I don't have an actual idea, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you on other functions. Let me tell you why people use language model, LangChain, to actually build language models. I'll just suggest. I'll provide you with one more advantage of using LangChain. For example, if I go to ChatGPT, I was open ChatGPT here. If I go to ChatGPT, I can actually start a conversation, right? I can say, um, "Who is Dhoni?" By the way, Dhoni is my favorite cricket player. Who is Dhoni? And I could, based on this, I could actually proceed with my conversation, right? I could actually proceed with my conversation saying, "Where does Dhoni bat? Where does he bat?" Right now, the ChatGPT can actually understand what he means here. Right, it understand what he means here. That is why it came with the response based on MS Dhoni. So that is why the ChatGPT has the ability to store context, store memory, and store context. But when we're actually using ChatGPT API in Python, we don't have access to this feature. ChatGPT will not store the previous conversation. We can't actually create a conversation with context around. For example, if I ask a question, you answer, and based on the question I have previously asked, or based on the answer you have previously answered, the conversation might lead to something, and maybe there will be some relations, right? So for the to actually have this ability to actually create a conversation rather than just a question and answer, to actually, like, if you have a website and maybe you want to have ChatGPT features just like ChatGPT, to actually enable users to actually have a conversation with the model, then you can actually use LangChain. So that is the advantage of LangChain. So it will actually store the memory, the previous questions you asked, and you can actually start a conversation and keep asking questions, and all the previous questions and answers will be stored, and based on that, it'll answer just like ChatGPT. So that is the advantage of LangChain. And then the other advantage is, you might have heard about AutoGPT. Like, it was probably the next biggest thing after ChatGPT. So AutoGPT is nothing but, for example, taking a higher amount of prompt, and then further, um, like based on the request you have asked for, it will further make smaller requests to actually fulfill that. For example, let's say you ask a model. So I'm going to give you a generic example. So let's say you want what? So let's say you have an equation, right? So let's say you have an equation. What to get? So let's say you have an equation. Let's say you have an equation. So 1 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 4. So this is like a BODMAS equation. You have to solve in the correct order based on the brackets. Then only you will get the correct answer. So let's say you give this equation to the model. So the model will further divide the problem that he has to solve. So first, if you give this equation to the model, it will first calculate this part, and then it calculates this part, and then multiplies them both. Right. So it will further divide this whole equation to actually solve this equation. It will find out smaller steps that it has to do, or smaller equations that it has to solve, in order to get to the final output. So therefore, and that is one advantage. That is actually AutoGPT. Given a bigger prompt, it will further create prompts for itself and answer those prompts to actually solve the bigger problem. So that is AutoGPT. Like, you could actually, I think it's an app or a plugin maybe. They actually have all of their code on GitHub. Right? It is open source for you, anyone to use. So or even read their code if you are like very highly patient. Like there are a lot of files, like huge number of files. If you are a patient, you are a person with a lot of patience, you can actually go through it. So that is auto GPT. It will further divides the problem and you know defines what it has to do next. So that's it. Now I think let's see what is here. So props the language from provides components. Right, so there are a lot of things. So we will not read everything, but let's get to the code. Let's get to this notebook, LangChain demo part one. Right, let's get to the code. First, we have to install LangChain. So LangChain is a library. Again, it's on GitHub, and you could actually it's open source for us. You could actually read the code only if you're very patient. When we'll also import install OpenAI because the model will be using is GPT-3, right? So LangChain is nothing but we'll use GPT-3 to actually solve these problems, right? All of the problems that I've told you in the whiteboard. And then we'll be developing the model. So from LangChain.LLMs, we can actually import OpenAI. Actually, we can actually import OpenAI, and then we can initialize the object. We can create an object, and this temperature parameter defines how random, right? How reproducible the output should be. For example, if the temperature is close to 0, then every time you run the same prompt, you will get the same answer, right? For example, let's say what is my name, right? Or what is 1 plus 1? In that case, you want the temperature to be 0. Like no matter how many number of times you ask, you'll get the same answer. Whereas sometimes you want the temperature to be very high, right? You want like new answers to come in, right? So that is that defines the temperature. The higher the temperature, the more randomness and the less reproducibility. So I've actually have asked a question here, not right. So what are some dishes to try in India? So that is a text. Again, we have an error here because, well, they said that my quota is finished. All right, next, and then after that, I'll actually show you one feature. The first feature, which is nothing but prompt templates, to actually create templates and reuse these templates on different types of inputs. I'll show you how that works. So if you don't know the meaning of template is nothing but like an outer format, and you can actually update little things to actually get output. So you can actually reproduce or reuse these templates, right, to ask different questions. So first I'll import the prompt template class from LangChain.prompts, and then I'll create an object, and the inputs are what is the input variable, what is the variable that you want to change when you're actually updating and formatting or editing this template, right? And then they will provide the template. The template is nothing but what are some dishes to try in the country. So the country is the variable here. We can actually change this country to actually get different outputs, right? And then you can also change the variable. You can also sorry for that, I'll change this. I think I've made some mistakes here, right? I'll change this. I think I've put food there. I'll say we can just change this. 1 second, my bad. Italy. So to get new values, to update this variable called country, we should do this. We can just say print prompt. Prompt is nothing but the name of the object that we have created of the prompt template class, and then we can actually format and update these country values by just saying prompt.format, and we can just say the variable country is equal to Mexico, let's say, and then Italy. So we can actually get like a whole new different outputs. Now let's see. Now let's go through. So that is one feature to actually create prompt templates. Not very useful one, but definitely no, why not, right? And then now here right? I think I have. Yeah, so this is also the same thing, right? So we could actually, like, this is all the same thing. uh yeah, you get this, right? The same thing, we could actually change this, use this template to actually change this. Now let's get to the next big feature, agents. So there is something called agents here, right? So we'll use agents. So agents are nothing but we can actually have access to something called agents, and they will, just like auto gpt. I've told you about auto gpt, right? Right. They'll call, they'll perform, or they'll calculate what action they should perform next. So based on the higher, prompt, they'll actually figure out what they have to perform next. So that is agent. And they can also like, they're just like like a chatbot for you. We can actually import here in this, here in this line, we'll actually install Google search results to actually have access to Google search, right? So we'll actually have that to actually search for something, and then we'll import some libraries that we will be needing. And then again, I'm going to create an object of OpenAI from, and I'll store it in LLM variable. And then here we should create a variable, right? So we should create a variable that can store all of the tools that the chatbot will have access to. So here, SERP AI is nothing but, to actually will give the chatbot access to Google search. So just for that, we'll actually have this, SERP AI API, right? So it can actually access documents over the internet. And then we'll have this LLM math. LLM math is nothing but, the calculator. So the chat GPT or the language model in this case can access the calculator, and then we could actually input the LLM, whatever language model we are using, the object of the language model. Here in this case, we are using OpenAI API. And then we could use a function called initialize agent to actually have this engine initialize. We should input the tools first. We should first input the tools and then the language model. The language model is nothing but, we use zero shot React description. Zero shot is nothing but, like you must have heard about zero shot training. So it is actually nothing but, will actually help. So the testing inputs will be different from training inputs. So that is it. And then I'm setting verbose equals true, because you can actually see what are the actions that are getting performed by this, language model. If you run it, you can actually see, all the actions that you can actually see a very good, very intelligent, action that will perform in order to, perform our question, to actually answer our question. Now let's, run this. Now we'll input the prompt, whatever that is. So the prompt, this is the prompt. What is the age of presidents of UK and USA, and what is the average age of both of these presidents? So like, it has to do a lot of things. So maybe if you run it, maybe you'll get a value like this, because I haven't run it, because, I'm very unlucky. So it'll first um it'll first get the name of the president of UK, and get the name of the president of USA, and then it'll search for the age of the prime minister of UK, and then the age of the prime minister of USA, Joe Biden. And then after that, it'll access the calculator, access the, access the LLM math to actually have access to a calculator, and then it'll calculate the average of both of these ages. So it'll use this SERP API to actually get the information of these presidents, what is the name and what is their ages, and then it'll use LLM math to actually calculate the average. So you understand, right? So it actually very intelligently, um, grouping all of the tasks that it has to do, and it is performing the tasks and answering your question, which is like amazing, right? Like just like a human, right? You give a, like, you give a task, and it'll generate smaller tasks that it has to do in order to perform the larger task. So just like auto gpt, right? Now, let's look at a new feature, another feature, memory. Of course, I've told you in the whiteboard what that is. So you can actually start a conversation with this LLM, OpenAI, using the OpenAI API. You actually create this chain in which you can just have a conversation in which the context will be stored in the memory. So we'll first import the necessary APIs again. I have again inputted OpenAI, and then I have imported conversation chain to actually start the conversation. So we'll create the OpenAI object, and we'll also create the object of conversation chain, and then we'll input the LLM, whatever we have to use. LLM is nothing but OpenAI API. And then we could actually simply say conversation.predict on this input. I'll just give an input. Dhoni is my favorite cricket player. Again, I'll just input this, and whatever the output of the model is, we'll leave it. And after that, we will change the topic. So I have just created this conversation just to make you understand that it could have like store the previous values. So, and then I have just changed the topic into, anyway, can you summarize the attention is all you need paper for me, the transfer paper. Right, it does. And then I have asked the question, who is my favorite cricket player, and it will answer it will answer as Dhoni, because it has stored the memory, it has stored the context. So if you try it, maybe if you run it, you could see that it will answer as Dhoni. And then if I ask what is his full name, it will answer Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Right, so it can actually understand the context of the previous word and could store the previous word. That is actually a very good advantage of using the LangChain. Right, even if you change the topic also, it can understand and remember the previous questions you have asked for, or the previous answer that it has answered. So that is it. That is the code. That is the little guide for LangChain, the starting guide. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So